Hi, we've now reached the fourth video where I've shown you how to set up your tournament for an online tournament. We've talked about how students and judges can get their contact information saved so we can send their postings and ballots. And in video 3, I just showed you how to send postings to students and sort of what that process looks like. This video will now focus on the judges side. How do we get the judges their ballots? What do the e-ballots look like? How do judges fill them out? And some of the important screens for you as a tournament director so you can monitor the e-ballots and change judges and stuff. So if we jump back to our tournament, you'll see that round 1 has been paired. And if we just go back, just like before, again, like with the postings, the ballots have been designed as easy as possible. And again, just like before where we used to go to pair section ballots, do the same thing. You're going to select your round, select your events, and then instead of sending them to PDF, which is normally what we do at face-to-face tournaments, all you have to do is click on eBallots, and this will send out all of the eBallots. One setting that I want to point out here under Advanced, by default, the standby judges is on, and what that means is that all standby judges for this round will get an email and saying that they're on standby. One of the best practices we found in the spring was that unlike at a traditional tournament where judges can go to the ballot table, see they don't have a ballot, and know that they're on standby, in an online tournament, they're just sort of waiting for an email. And we found that it was very stressful for judges to not know if they were on for a round or not. And they would start coming into the help room and ask, I haven't got an email, am I missing a ballot? It's very stressful. So this way they get noticed that they are on standby, and as I'll explain in a few minutes, there's a setting under the tournament settings where you can set what help room, 8x8 video room they should go to if they're a standby judge. And we found that, again, is another best practice. If all of the standby judges are in a video conference room, then when you go to push your ballots later, you can jump into that standby room and double check that the judge you're pushing a ballot to is ready to accept the ballot. And you can give them a little notice that, hey, I'm sending you a ballot, and they can be on the lookout for it. We found that saved a lot of time and also was a good check to make sure that judges weren't just bailing on the tournament. So just wanted to point that out, that setting is on by default, and I think it's a very good setting, as I'll show in a few minutes. So you go ahead and click eBallots. You'll see here that there's a success, that the 2 eBallots were scheduled to send out. You can get the 2 names of the judges who you're emailing. And the way the program works is these are now queued to send out. Usually it sends out within a few seconds. But if you have a very large tournament where you're getting, hundreds of ballots being sent out and many alerts, just know it might take a few minutes for all of that to get processed. Next thing I want to show you is, as a tournament director, a very important page that keeps you informed on whether or not your judges are picking up their ballots and if you need to push them or not. And so if you go under pair section, there's a reports page. And the very first tab will be the eBallot status. And when you click on the eBallot status, it's going to ask you to select the schedule box. So we'll pick pattern A, round 1. And then it will load and tell you, here are your eBallots, and the ones in red are going to be ones that have no response yet. So that means that these judges were emailed or texted their ballot, but they haven't accepted them yet. And as judges start clicking on them, you'll start getting information. And there's a few links here. The first name actually takes you to the judge's eBallot. Now, I don't recommend clicking on that because as soon as you click on it, it will mark it as accepted, which is not really the case. But in case this judge is having difficulty getting the email and maybe you have an alternative way to contact them, for example, in the spring, I was able to, through Facebook Messenger, sometimes send people their ballots. I would just right-click, copy link address, and then say, oh, here's your ballot through Facebook Messenger. They click on it, and now they have their ballot. This video room link will take you to their video competition room. Sometimes in the spring, what we did is we clicked on that and we let the students know that their judge hasn't picked up their ballot yet. We're working on it. Just sit tight. And sometimes that helped with the tournament. If any of the students were double entered, they could then jump over to their other round and do that first. But it's sort of a quick way to get into the video room and check if everything's okay. And lastly, this button here is a send again button where it will send the ballot to the judge again. And so if they say, oh, I never received it, or maybe if you've updated their email address because the original one isn't good anymore, you can click on that button and it will send the ballot to the judge again. And so again, as you send out the ballots, you can monitor the status. Go ahead and click this button to reload in case anything's happened, and it will kind of keep you updated. The other screen that is helpful is changing judges. So if you go ahead and click here, I pause the video to allow some time to pass. But one of the interesting things that we found in the spring was now normally at traditional tournaments, you would have a paper ballot in front of you and you would have a ballot code. And it'd be very easy to enter that code here, load the ballot, change the judge. Of course, there aren't paper ballots. You don't have the ballot you need to change in front of you. And so instead you want to pick this schedule block over here. That will list the judges that they've been assigned. And you'll see here that they have an eBallot. That will help in case you have a tournament where some judges have eBallots, some judges have paper ballots. And then this NR stands for no response. And it will tell you that this judge has not responded for 9 minutes. And if you go ahead and click this refresh, that will then refresh that list, and it will make sure that the judge hasn't since picked up their ballot. We found that's helpful because sometimes we would get into a loop where we would change the ballot, and forget which we've changed, and it will kind of let you, give the judge some time where you're not, you've just changed the ballot. It's been 1 minute, you're changing it again. Give them a few minutes, and so now it's been 10 minutes, and we know they still haven't picked up their ballot. And changing ballots is totally easy. You just go ahead and click their name, click the judge you want to change it to, click update. And if there are any conflicts, you'll see here why. Right? Already assigned, judge already assigned to this ballot, so you really don't want to give it to this judge. It's the same thing. The judge is already assigned, same school, same school. So go ahead and update. And what that will do is it will update the ballot like before, but it will also generate a new ballot for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and it will queue that ballot for sending by email. And so you don't have to do anything after this point to get rid of Elena Kagan's ballot or to get Ruth Bader Ginsburg a new ballot. That was automatically sent to them. And if Elena Kagan at this point now clicks on the email that was sent 10 minutes ago, they'll get a message saying, sorry, this ballot is no longer yours. It's been pushed. Contact the turn director if you have any questions. So that solves that problem well. So now we could go over to the reports again. Click on eBallot status for round 1. And you'll see here, Elena Kagan's no longer listed. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is, but they haven't picked up their ballot yet because this is a test tournament. None of it's actually working. And so I've already gotten the emails. And so if we go over here, here's what a standby judge email will look like. So remember, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was originally on the standby list. And so they got a note saying, please note you're on the standby judge list for this round. Again, alerting them, communicating with them that they are on standby so they're not stressing out about if they got their ballot or not. And then like I mentioned before, there's the setting where you can set what the standby judge room is. And so if they go ahead and click this link, they can then wait in the standby judge room, which is sort of like the ballot room at a traditional tournament. And then when I'm pushing ballots, I, as a tournament director, can jump into that room, confirm that the judge is available, and I'm pushing to a judge who I know can take it and who's been alerted the fact that they're getting a ballot. This is what the ballot email looks like for the judge. So we'll say hello, their name, their school. It says they have an eBallot for this round during this time for this event. Go ahead and click here to accept. And again, if you've set your help room, there's a link to the online test help room in case they have any difficulties doing this. And then I waited a few minutes because I wanted to show you as well. If it's been 5 minutes and they haven't accepted their eBallot, they'll get a reminder. Right? So it says, hello, you have an eBallot for this round. Please accept now so the tournament director does not have to push your ballot. So, they'll get 2 notices within 5 minutes that they have an eBallot for them to go ahead and accept. So if I go back to the original email and I click here to accept the ballot, you'll see it takes you to forensicsturn.net, and just like the 8x8 video room, it generates this long code which avoids the judge having to have an account or a password to get to their eBallot. Right? So as long as they click that link, which is different and unique for every judge, every ballot, they'll get right to their ballot. And it says ballot accepted, room, event, what time it is, and then this will take them to their eBallot. Before we do that, I do want to show you that the status page will have updated. So if I reload this, now it tells me that I have one ballot who has no response and one ballot that's been accepted, but no results have been recorded. Right? So we know that this judge has, in a traditional tournament, picked up their ballot from the ballot table, but they haven't turned it back in yet. And so that way, hopefully, very quickly after you send out the ballots, people will start moving from this box down to this box, and then that will sort of allow you to contact judges. If you know, for example, you want to contact this judge directly, one way that you can do that is under Contact Notices. This is a new feature on the site that helps with the online tournament and communication. You can contact a specific judge. You pick the judge, and then you can send them a short, quick message. Please do note that the coaches for this judge will be CC'd on the message. Again, we thought this helped with information because now the coaches know the judge isn't picking up their ballot. And this only works for judges who have an email or phone saved. If the judge is set for paper preference and they don't have a phone or email, obviously it's not going to send them a message. But you can send them a quick message. Please pick up your ballot or face a fine of $50. Click send, and that will send a message to that judge as well as to that judge's school, to sort of move them along in the process a little bit. And so again, if I go back to the reports, eBallot status, select the round, hopefully this judge will pick up their ballot. Again, I might click on this video link room, go into the round, tell those students who are novice informative, hey, just let you know we're trying to get you your judge. Hang tight, we'll get that to you shortly. All right, so that's sort of that process. And so again, if we go back here and we go to the accept a ballot and we go to your eBallot, their individual events ballot is going to look like this. It tries to mirror as closely as possible the master ballot that was created before. You'll notice here that there's a quick tutorial that gets loaded automatically on each judge's first electronic ballot of the tournament. So only the first one, it will automatically pop up. And it just gives them a quick guide where they can go through each of the elements that are important. And so let's go through this with you as well. And so this ballot tutorial, they can click this and it will run this tutorial again. So if they forget by their second ballot, they can run it again, or if they want to do it again, it's quite easy. This live video room is the link to the 8x8 video conference room that the students are waiting for the judge. So if you click this link, it will take you to the 8x8 video room that the students are waiting for you in. And that way you can watch the round and hear the students. This help button sends a request to the tournament director for help. And we found this is, again, a really great best practice. If you have your help room staff monitoring their email, they'll get a notice that Margaret Fuller needs help, and they can then jump into the video room and discuss what's going on and try to solve any problems. And then if there's any specific information on the ballot, such as event rules, speaker prompts for impromptu, etc., they would be listed here. There's nothing for this round, but the information will be listed there. And then you'll see each of the students is listed here. And then this feedback button will allow them to type their feedback to the student, just like writing out on a ballot. I'll show that to you in a few minutes. There's a no-show button that could alert the tournament that the student is a no-show. This is helpful in case the student is just having technology issues. The tournament staff can try to contact the student or contact the student's coach and see if they're actually a no-show or if it's just something's going on with their technology. You can enter the student speech topic here. I think it helps you remember the student later on when you're doing the ranking. And then just like the ballot, you can select the student's rank and points if the tournament is using ranks and rates for the student. Then once you're done with the ballot, you click step 2 to review it, and then there'll be a step 3 to submit it. And so again, as you're going through this, the feedback box looks like this. There's a convenient timer here where as soon as the student starts speaking, you can start a timer. This then gets saved on the eBallot, so it sort of saves you that work. And then you can go ahead and type the feedback here. So you might say, great attention getter. Your topic is a bit unclear. Good voice volume, etc., etc., etc. There are some rich content editor options, so if you want to put something in bold, you can do that. Some judges like to use lists, so you can do this and go ahead and enter item 1, item 2. Helps you keep organized. The nice thing, of course, with this is you go back and fix things. So if you say good voice volume, actually your voice volume drops in main point 2. Right? So you can go back and add additional comments. It's pretty nice. You'll have a character count right here. Some tournaments have a minimum character count on their ballots, so it alerts the judge if they've met their character count or not. And then, as you may have noticed, every 5 seconds or so, the draft is saved. You'll see it detects that changes were made. It saves the draft. And so in case you reload the browser or you lose your internet connection, anything you've typed so far is automatically saved. Okay, the student's done with their informative. It's very short, 116. I go ahead and click close. Enter their topic here, Mount Vernon, and then we move on to the next student. Now, it might be that this student is a no-show. So again, you can click this box here, click to enter that they're a no-show. We will tell you that the notice has been sent. Please proceed with going ahead and ranking them with a no-show. And hopefully the tournament director can help this student get to the round. But in the event that they never show up, you can just put speech topic NA, rank is a no-show, rate is a no-show. And that will give them the appropriate rank and rate as normal. All right, you would go ahead and then fill out your entire ballot. And once you're done, you then enter their ranks and rates, depending on how maybe the student ended up showing up. Got second place, 24. Third place, 23. Fourth place, 22. And fifth place, 19. And again, you can fill out the speech topic or not. At least some feedback is required. It defaults to NA just so that there's something there. But again, if your tournament sets a minimum character count, you're going to have to type in to meet that minimum character count. Okay, once your ballot looks good, you can go ahead and click Step 2, Review. That will then take you to a summary page where each student, their topic, their rank, and their rate will be listed. So you'll see here it has the code, the student, their topic, their time, their rank and rate that I filled out on the previous page. I didn't put any comments for these students, and so I'll have to go back. If you realize you made a mistake and you actually wanted to change the rankings, you can go click here and go back to your ballot. But if everything looks right, the judge would then click Save Ballot, and you'll see that the result is recorded. One of the things that we did in the training is telling judges, keep clicking until you see the palm trees, and that way they know they're done. We also added this progress bar. That seemed to help as well. At our earlier couple of tournaments, we found a lot of judges were stopping at step 2 and never getting to submitting their ballot, but we feel this is a pretty good process. Some future features that I'm hoping to implement are coming back and adding additional comments later. It's not available right now, but it should be by the time the season starts. All right, I think that's everything you need to know for the eBallots. Again, or let me show you this real quick. And so if we go back to the reports eBallot status page and we select pattern A round 1, you'll notice now that this ballot is marked as green because the result has been recorded. So that was the ballot that I just walked you through. You'll notice now it's green. So as you monitor this page, it will tell you who hasn't picked up their ballot, who, again, you remember that blue box where they've accepted it but haven't submitted it, and then number 2, and then the green box is the results have been recorded, the ballot's been entered. All right, so hopefully that clarifies how the eBallots work. We will have training videos for judges to review specifically from a judge's perspective how everything works, but I hope that shows it's really very straightforward. As a tournament director, you just send the ballots to the eBallots instead of printing them as PDF. You can then change judges just like before, and you can monitor which ballots have been picked up, which ballots have been recorded on the eBallot status page. Thanks.